So we're starting with 3 presentations from the Nordics, and Matti, Lucie Arentz, and Ingvil Hegna, who are both from the DOGA, which is the National Platform for Design and Architecture in Norway, are with us. And I'm not quite sure how they're going to do the presentation, if it's 2 of them or 1 of them, or if they're sitting together, but we'll find out. I can see that Matti is there. So welcome, Matti. And they are presenting what they have defined as citizens tracks, which is a new participatory tool, national tool for Norway. So welcome, Matti, and thank you very much for taking, and you are also there, but because of the COVID restrictions, I don't think the widescreen camera is managing that. It's rather getting the space between than the 2. Yes, that's fine. That's it. That's how you have to speak. All right. Thank you. We can't hear you yet. I don't know if you're turned on.
Can you hear us? Our sound is on.
It's not going through. You're all right? Okay. It's me who's not on. Okay. You are fine. So just go ahead. You're okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So we can't see ourselves. Yes.
Hello from Oslo to Nordic Urban Lab Athens. We are Ingvil and Matti, and we work as senior advisors at DOGA, Design and Architecture Norway.
Thank you for the invitation. We will be spending the next 20 minutes talking about Citizens Tracks, a national tool for participation in urban planning. And now we will attempt sharing our presentation.
Yep.
So we will try to keep our kind of COVID space. So there might be some noise of chairs going back and forth because we will be sharing the presentation. So let's see if you can open it up here. Can everybody see the presentation?
Yes, this is fine.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm an architect, and before starting at DOGA in 2013, I worked as an architect and planner in both the private and public sector for many years.
My background is in art, and I have a Master of Fine Arts, and at DOGA I work mainly with urban planning and development relating to participation, co-creation, private-public cooperation, collaborations, and I also work as a freelance curator and advisor. So let's see if we can carry on. So before we start, we quickly want to say something about what DOGA does. We work to strengthen the role of design and architecture in shaping the Norway of tomorrow. At the core is a people-centered and holistic approach to problem solving, essential to our ability to solve increasingly complex social challenges. Regardless of the branch or sector, design and architecture can release untapped potential for innovation and sustainable value creation in both the private and public sectors. DOGA is part of the Norwegian public policy implementation system for increased innovation. The national platform Citizens Tracks, which is a working title for now, is a free and open source platform and a tool for public participation currently under development by DOGA. It aims to contribute to increased participation in planning processes by providing greater insight into the needs, experiences, and preferences of the population. Participation in planning is a legal obligation through the Planning and Building Act in Norway, but difficult to accomplish. Over the years, it has become evident that there is a need to collect and develop good tools and methods to involve citizens so that they can participate to a greater and more targeted degree in developments that affect their local environment and communities. Citizens Tracks will provide local authorities, developers, politicians, civil society, and other relevant parties with a better and more comprehensive knowledge base for developing cities and densely populated areas in Norway.
In 2014, DOGA launched Kids Tracks, a digital participation tool for public planning processes. Initially developed in 2005 by DOGA's previous organization, and it's specifically designed for children in mapping their neighborhoods. As this tool has been very useful to about 60% of Norwegian municipalities, a clear need for a tool made for the rest of the population emerged, a tool which fit all ages and conditions. The first research and analysis phase soon revealed that one more tool would not be sufficient to improve participation in planning in itself. Instead, we saw a need to create a broader solution which would give the public sector and other actors involved in planning better guidance on participation linked to the Planning and Building Act, a service that could make participation related to public planning systemic and holistic. We engaged a design company, a designer, to analyze needs and opportunities to see if and how such a tool could be developed. Using service designers to facilitate studies, we involved a broad spectrum of actors within planning, from the state level to the municipal, science and educational institutions, as well as consultants in the field, asking them their views, needs and wants related to participation in public planning processes for the future. Important to know is that in Norway, for the most part, development of detailed regulation plans are the responsibility of the private developers sector. This fact makes planning and regulation in Norway quite challenging and differs from other Nordic countries. This entails that planning needs to be a collaborative effort between the public and private sector, and participation is often left to the developers to plan and carry out, with varying results. We received a lot of useful information, but what stood out was one specific and relatable situation illustrated here. The findings confirmed that the level of conflict peaks very late in the process, often too late, when plans are being detailed, projects are specified, and lots of time, resources, and money has been spent. The main finding is that citizens mostly are involved in the last stages of the planning process instead of in the early stages, where the defining decisions are made. And then we asked ourselves, how could this be solved? To solve the problem, we decided to make a national digital platform for participation, consisting of a set of tools to help municipalities and developers facilitate good participatory processes, as well as providing a knowledge bank for areas under development, in addition to tools for communication between citizens and their municipalities. The platform should help the users understand why, when and how to do public participatory processes. The ultimate goal for Citizens Tracks is to be a visionary tool that results in better built environment for everyone. Citizens Tracks is a platform consisting of 4 modules. Module 1, it's a digital participation guide for municipal planners and facilitators of participatory processes. Qualitative data from this module will make up parts of the comprehensive set of data in Module 2, the database. Module 2, database for planners, developers and citizens. A knowledge base which gradually grow as the platform is being used. And Module 3, planning and progress tool for the citizens. Module to secure citizens' insights into current and coming planning projects, with emphasis on securing transparency in planning processes. And Module 4, it's the people's opinion for the citizens, a communication tool between the citizens and the local municipality. So I will talk about the first module, the participation guide. This is the version 1.0 and it's ready and already in use. During participatory processes recommended in this module, Insights from participation can provide qualitative data useful in different phases in a planning process. The module is a dynamic toolbox that recommends the type of methods and tools to use in different planning types and phases and milestones in a planning process in accordance with the Norwegian Planning and Building Act. To engage and inspire the users, the module also presents a set of good examples and best practice cases. More will also be added. The first version was launched a year ago, and I will give you a quick walkthrough of the guides in a bit. As Citizens Tracks is a people-centered tool, the platform is developed in close cooperation with the intended users of the platform and tool. 2 municipalities were invited to take part in a pilot project as part of the development of the guide. Drammen and Flesberg, 2 municipalities different in size and location and different teams with a variety of skills within participation processes. The 2 municipalities had different needs and wishes about what the participatory platform should contain and execute. And they have made a very useful contribution effort to strengthen the foundation and relevance throughout the development of the project. So I will take you through the first module. I will try to explain the thoughts and principles behind it. And before I start, I have to tell you that the guide is in Norwegian only, so as it links directly to the Norwegian planning process according to the Norwegian Planning and Building Act. And we will be showing the version 1.0 of the guide, which means that focus is on the content and has to be read and not on design and dynamic interaction. Not yet, at least. The next version will be more intuitive and visual, and most likely on a freestanding platform, not a part of Doga's website with the limitations doga.no has. So here is the landing site. It's why participation, explains why participation is necessary. B, participation in planning processes, how to do participation systematically in planning processes. C, toolbox, collection of methods and tools. And D, best practice, good examples to inspire. And I will talk about number B and C. Participation in planning processes. We decided to organize the guide around 2 main planning processes. 1, the municipal master planning process, and 2, detailed planning process. The guide advises the planners and other actors to facilitate the participation process to use the right tool in the right phase in the planning process. This page explains the possibilities and the potential in the municipal master planning process, and below it shows the 3 different planning types. And then the phases, the orange boxes, and the recommended methods to each phase. And each method is explained in these forms with information about who are the participants, how much time you must expect to spend doing it, how to prepare, what kind of findings you can collect, and the level of influence you can expect. And here is the information about the detailed planning process. Also the two different types explained down below. And then the phases and the recommended methods to each phase. And here is the toolbox. We have built the toolbox around a simple version of the participation ladder, which some of you may know. All the methods are organized around this system. And we call it the circle of influence. The first one, the white circle, is the lowest form of influence, making information available. Number 2, next step up is collecting information. Number 3, dialogue. And 4, collaboration. And the yellow boxes are the 4 levels of influence. And in each box, there are tools recommended to that specific purpose. This is a live platform. It will be updated regularly with new methods and tools and good examples. In addition, Doga will take the initiative or participate in piloting and testing various participation processes that can be shared and communicated. And to be sure the guide is being used and implemented, Doga will, together with the Norwegian University of Life Sciences, prepare courses and teaching programs for students studying planning. We also plan teaching programs for continuing education within both public and private sector, and courses for consultants in the private sector. So now Matti will tell you about the module 2.
Yes, hello. So module number 2, the database, it's for everybody, but especially planners and developers, as well as citizens and other interested actors or parties. From the insight gathered during the development of the participation guide, it became evident that actors involved in planning and development in both the public and private sector need a database module that gathers, collects, and makes participatory practice, information and knowledge from various existing public and private sources available and accessible to the user. Presented together with newly obtained data from ongoing planning initiatives nationwide, we believe such an open and free data service will make decision-making in public planning processes more transparent and more democratic, thus creating a better built environment for all. August this year, we started a preliminary study, which is ongoing. We hired an external consultant to make a study that aims at giving us insights and advice on how and with whom to proceed with such a project, that in the end can be a fully working national database for participatory projects, tools, and methods, all connected to national public geographical information such as digital maps, property and geodata, and so on. Main goals for the project is to develop an open source knowledge base which gradually grows as the platform is being used. It should consist of qualitative and quantitative data constituting a comprehensive set of data. The knowledge is produced through various types of participation coupled with quantitative data. A tailor-made digital solution with predefined needs as a dashboard for the users of the database. In September, we executed 3 workshops with 45 of the foremost Norwegian experts in all relevant fields of the planning, urbanism, architecture, data, geodata, science, research, public and sector and developers. And the workshops had 3 different focus areas. Number 1 was about future users and a mission and a vision. Number 2 was about data, and number 3 was about ownership and possible business models. The report with the recommendations for further development is due this November. And if recommended in the report, we plan on going ahead in 2021 with a pilot study with hand-picked Norwegian municipalities and collaborating developers.
Last modules, 3, planning and progress tool, and 4, people's opinion, is not a priority now, but may possibly be developed and integrated in module 2, the database, at a later time. This autumn, we will be structuring the organization of the whole platform with a new board and a reference and working group tailor-made for the future development possibilities and possible future challenges for the platform. And we would very much like to cooperate with others making similar platforms and who are engaged in participatory processes, especially within the public sphere. So you can reach us here. And thank you so much for your attention.
so much. And I hope we made it on time.
Thank you. Yes, that's very encouraging. I mean, it's the first time I think I've heard of such a program. Actually, it's the only thing I think was a bit disappointing in it, to be a bit critical, was on your steps of participation ladder. You ended at number 4, and most international, you might say, participation rankings go up to 8 or 7. And because it stops at the collaboration, I think it's collaboration, but there are actually steps which are more than this, which are actually end up as ownership and actually managing the system yourself. But that is because you are working within an existing system, a government system, and within an existing planning structure, which is highly regimented. I mean, there are things you do and don't do. So is that why you ended up at collaboration, or is it because you've numbered things differently?
First of all, thank you for being critical, Trevor. You may always be critical. This has been ongoing work for several years, and we do go further into the ladder in the platform, in the guide,
okay.
which is online.
Yeah.
So we do explain the steps, but to sort of be more in line with the act that we are always have to reference, because this needs to be systematic for the municipalities. It doesn't mean that we don't recommend the other steps in the ladder, and those steps are sort of like included in this circle, but we sort of go more into detail because we only had 20 minutes, we couldn't go into detail in the presentation here. Okay. But everyone is welcome to contact us, and we can give them more information about it.
No, it's super positive. No, it's, I mean, you know, generally, I think it's really a great initiative, actually, because that's one of the aspects is that it's not compulsory, and the other aspect is that people are not usually trained to manage these kind of processes and don't know actually how to do it. And the third is that it's not linked to any kind of a measurement or data system which you can actually learn from. That actually, so I think there's some really good initiatives. So thank you very much for that. Is there any other quick questions or points? I think you have one there. I think Monica is a point which I can read. Is that right?
Let's see. Would contact information once more over there?
You want to read that?
There's one from Shell first. Thanks for presenting DOGA. It seems to be a very generative initiative. I wonder if it can be used to commission public art, if it can instigate civil society to use it towards proposing public art commissions. We are sort of working on the Planning and Building Act side of the law. It's not compulsory in that sense to do public art, but I think you can find several tools and methods that are also looking into how art can be part of the planning. We do have an institution in Norway which is called Kuro, which is art in public space, and they are also now working more towards policies and planning to sort of figure out if it can be sort of collaborative. But you're welcome to contact us by email, and I see also Monica wants our contact information. So yes, we'll type Ingvil just typed our contact information. So you may just email us and we will try to answer all questions and guide you through the online platform.